All right. We good to go? All right. Ain't no time like showtime. No time like showtime, man. Let's go ahead and get to it, brothers and sisters. This is a continuation of Sunday soul sessions. We obviously missed the prior Sunday, so of course we got to make up for that. So we're gonna be building today. Okay, so Sunday soul sessions is about scientific and historical literacy for African people. Okay, scientific and historical literacy for African people. Like I said, I feel like this is where we're losing as a nation because um, knowledge is not something that's really culturally accepted or really popular, amongst people of color. And I think that we should most definitely look into, studying and researching and seeking to obtain answers. And the more that we seek answers, the more we will be able to obtain those answers. Okay, so last Sunday soul sessions we covered the RX factor, right? So the RX factor is a blood DNA marker, right? That is present in the DNA of some modern humans, and it's also associated with the rhesus monkey factor, okay? So they call it the RX factor. It's actually an acronym. And we also cover the positive versus negative, just like HIV. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're positive, then you have it. If you're negative, then you don't have it. So that's the same thing for the RH factor, okay? If you're RH positive, then the antigens are present. If you're RH negative, then the antigens are not present, okay? And we also talked about genotype and phenotype, right? Which is genotype, which is the genetic material, which translates and transcribes into phenotype, which are the physiological characteristics and traits. Okay, phenotype meaning physical type. So we got to understand that blood type is gene type, right? Blood type is gene type. Your blood type is your genetic material, your chemical composition, which is responsible for your physical appearance, which is your phenotype. So we went through that, and we also went through cell theory, and we talked about how the cell is the fundamental unit of life, okay? The cell is actually a part of like particle evolution, and we broke that down, in how cells derive, naturally from nature, particle evolution. Okay, we also elaborated on cell structure and function. Remember, we're still dealing with the RH study, so we're trying to understand more about genetics and origins and where different people derive. Okay, so the cell structure and function of melanated people has proven to be far different than those who are not of our same genotype. Okay, and we can tell that, like I said, through sunburn, melanoma, skin cancer, sun poisoning, and all that is based upon having low levels of melanin. And so, like I said, melanin is an actual cell called a melanocyte. And melanocytes are melanin-producing cells, which are predominantly in people of color. And the more melanin you have, the deeper your saturation of color. Okay, so that's a part of the cell structure and function. So we want to keep that in mind as well. And we also covered blood transfusion incompatibility. And we know, like I said, the interaction between any solid, liquid, or gas is a chemical reaction. Okay, chemicals are elementary to physical matter. They are actually the rudimentary basics, the foundation of matter. So the interaction between every solid, liquid, and gas is a chemical reaction. So we must keep that in mind when we're looking into immunology and the immune system. okay? Because our cells are composed of chemicals, right? Different chemical compounds, like hemoglobin is a iron oxide compound, iron and oxygen to make up the hemoglobins, okay? So we got to keep that in mind. And we also went over GMO, which is genetic modification. And we know this to be so when we go in the grocery store today. You can see the, apples and oranges and bananas or whatnot. You may think that these are naturally occurring species of plants, but they're actually not, and I've taken it upon myself to go and research about the genetic origins of some of these plant species, and come to find out, according to the Cartagena Protocol, these plant species are hybridized. So they're not original species of plants that were created by God. So that's the thing with this whole new Western philosophy. Is very, very unnatural. There's no order, there's no respect for nature, there's no respect for the original design. So we did speak about that. That's genetic modification. And hybrid versus original organism. If you're an original species, you are a parent species. If you are hybrid, you are a subspecies, meaning that your species rank below taxonomic ranking, okay? So RH negative means you are an original species, and RH positive meaning that you have the rhesus DNA markers present in your DNA. That means that you are a hybrid, okay? So RH positive means hybrid, RH negative means non-hybrid. So some humans are hybrids and some humans are non-hybrids, okay? But anyway, I wanted to get into a little information about immunology. We understand in the ABO blood group study that there are four principal groups. Okay, there's the A, there's the B, there's the AB, and then there's the O group. Okay, those are the four primary principal groups. And in that study, we see that the O blood type has 2 antibodies, right? The A blood type has 1 antibody. The B blood type has 1 antibody. The AB blood type has 0 antibodies, okay? So when you examine the blood group, you can see that the O blood group stands out because it has a clear advantage of possessing 2 antibodies. And what are antibodies? Antibodies are immunoglobulins, okay? And immunoglobulins are immune defenders, okay? So they're for immune self-defense. And those who don't possess these antibodies or immunoglobulins have lower immune self-defense, okay? So some people have stronger immune systems than others, and that's based upon your blood type group, okay? So Rh negatives have 2 antibodies, which is the O blood type group, and the others have either 1 or 0. So we also spoke about on the last Sunday Soul Sessions how the plasma center is an operation to extract these DNA proteins, which are called antibodies, aka immunoglobulins, from those who have plasma-rich blood. So the O blood type group has 2 antibodies. They are ideal for, blood transfusion donations, and they call those guys the universal donors. Okay, so universal donors are ideal for that reason, okay? They can donate to everybody, but no one can donate to a universal donor except for a person of the same blood type group, okay? So we just, wanted to go through a few the things that we the things that we covered last week. So one of the main things that I noticed too is that the antigen is a bacterium-based cell, okay, a pathogen, okay? So to my understanding, we went over germ theory. So let's just go over germ theory right quick, just real fast, real quick. Let's see right quick. Germ theory. Give me 1 second, family. 1 second. So yeah, germ theory. Here we go right here. Germ theory of disease states that microorganisms, also known as pathogens, or germs, can lead to disease. These small organisms, too small to see without magnification, invade the human body, right? Because antigens are invaders of the immune system. They invade the human body they invade the human body, okay? And they also invade animals and other living hosts, okay? So that is the characteristics of what a germ is. It's a microorganism, a parasitic microorganism, okay? And a pathogen is a bacterium, virus, or microorganism that can cause disease. So we need to understand that these antigens that are in the Rh positive blood group are pathogenic toxins which contaminate the surface of red blood cells, right? And when you look into it, we come to find that, let me see right quick. Give me 1 second, family. Let me see. Okay, yeah, exactly. Here we go right here. Antigens, right? Antigens are so-called proteins that are found on the surface of pathogens, okay? So wherever you see a pathogen, there's an antigen. Wherever you see an antigen, there is a pathogen, okay? Like I said, these are parasitic invaders of the immune system. And it just so happens that some blood types pass this down, their gene pool, hereditarily, okay? So some individuals of, like I said, the Rh negative blood type group have different cellular structures, right? So this bacterium is the actual source of all disease. I don't know how many of you guys follow Dr. Sebi too. Dr. Sebi was very brilliant. The man was a biologist. The man was a chemist. And, he proved his work to be official. But his main thing was that germs are actually, the root to all disease, right? And then it says right here in biology, a pathogen from Greek pathos, meaning suffering passion, and gene, meaning producer of. In the oldest of broadest sense, is anything that can produce disease. A pathogen may also be referred to as an infectious agent or simply a germ, okay? So we gotta keep in mind that antigens are pathogens, all right? So the term pathogen came into use in the 1880s, right? And it's typically, the term is used to describe an infectious microorganism, agents such as a virus, bacterium, protozoan, prion, viroid, or fungus. Okay, so these are all characteristics of pathogens and antigens. Okay, so these people have internal parasites. All right, so, and that comes from what? Acidity, right? So alkalinity and acidity, there's a big difference between the two. One is based upon electrical prominence, and acidity is based upon the absence of electricity. And we know that the electron atom is responsible for the electricity, okay? Now, when things begin to decay, they go into a state of acidity so that the organism can break down. Most things in nature are biodegradable. So when things pass away or when things recycle themselves, it's like it's actually a biodegradable recycling process to where, the matter breaks down in the acidification process, okay? But molecular bonding is actually responsible for the structure and the form of the organism. And that's a role that electricity plays in molecular bonding and attracting, atoms together to create certain substances. Okay, and we are carbon-based life forms, black people, and carbon is ideal for its ability to exchange electrons. and the transvalence outer shells. Okay, and like I said, we have that seal of nature, that mark of nature, and I'm just proud to be melanated, brothers and sisters. You feel me? Um, I'm proud to be black and proud. You feel me? I wouldn't want to be nothing else. Especially in this time period. But yeah, man. So okay, so another thing I wanted to touch on right fast. Give me 1 second. Okay, so look, this one thing that I seen right here, right, in the Wikipedia article. And they were speaking on, what was it? Let me see. It was let me read it right quick. So Wikipedia article, right? Native American populations, right, were devastated by contagious disease, in particular smallpox, brought to the Americas by European colonists. It was unclear how many Native Americans were killed by the foreign diseases after the arrival of Columbus in the Americas, but the numbers have been estimated to be close to 70% of the indigenous population. The damage done by the disease significantly aided Europeans' attempt to displace and conquer the native population. Okay, so we know with Europeans came death, sickness, and disease. We asked the question, why black people? Why with Europeans came death, sickness, and disease? Acidity, acid-based biology, lacking the electrical prominence. Like I said, different blood type groups are composed of different cell structure and function. Okay, we have photosynthetic cells, electromagnetic conductive cells. Okay, melanocytes, hemoglobins. They contain metal. Okay, that is a ferromagnetic base metal. Even though it's liquid, it is a ferromagnetic iron-based metal in the blood. Okay, and that's for magnetic reception of electrical signals. Okay, and we're biologically made for photosynthesis, and we're very similar to that of plants. So if you want to learn a lot about yourself, simply observe a plant, and that'll tell you a lot about yourself. You need water, you need oxygen, you need electricity from the sun, and we biologically we generate energy in a very similar fashion. I think they call it thermochemical conversion. Thermochemical conversion is how energy is produced for photosynthetic life forms. Okay, and we are melanated people, brothers and sisters. So it's a blessing. All right. But as far as the study goes, I mean, we can go back and forth all day. Well, matter of fact, let me go into immunology right quick. All right, immunology is a branch of biology, right, that covers the study of the immune systems in organisms, in all organisms. Immunology charts, measures, and contextualizes the physiological functioning of the immune system in states of both health and disease. Okay, malfunctions of the immune system in immunological disorders such as autoimmune diseases, hypersensitivities, immune deficiency, and transplant rejection. These are some of the things that happens, in the study of immunology. That's observed and studied. Like I said, the cellular composition is a big part of that. Depending on your biochemical makeup, that's going to determine what substances you can interact with, as a biological entity. Okay, so it's all about knowing yourself. The more you know about yourself, the more you're able to successfully maneuver, and get success, the results that you desire, yeah, pretty much. So so immunology, right, has applications, right, in numerous disciplines of medicine, right, such as the field of organ transplantation, oncology, virology, bacteriology, parasitology, and psychiatry, and dermatology. So these are some of the areas of study in science where you can find out more information about immunology and the role that the immune system plays, with different genotypes and phenotypes of people. Okay, so another thing that I came across right here is vitamin A, black people. So vitamin A is something that was recommended, right, in regards to the immune system. And it's dealing with, vaccines, right? And measles, right? So they say severe measles, this is also out of the wiki article. It says severe measles is more likely among poorly nourished young children, especially those with insufficient vitamin A, right? Or whose immune systems have been weakened by HIV, AIDS, or other diseases. Okay? So, measles is said to be a characteristic of those with a weakened immune system. So that's one trait that you just want to keep in mind, because we're investigators. We're not literal readers. We don't want to breed literal readers. We want to breed people who have the ability of interpretation. Okay, that's the best researcher that you can come across, an individual that has the ability of interpretation to make the right connections. Okay, and sometimes people have agendas. These are writers. So I don't take everything literally. I always consider the logic of what's being said and what's being conveyed or whatnot. So anyway, a virus. Okay, they're still dealing with the RH positive, RH negative study and how viruses correlate with germs and disease. A virus is a small infectious agent that replicates only inside the living cells of an organism. Okay, so it's a parasite that invades and takes over the host and use the host to live and survive. And it's really similar to the colonial characteristics of Europeans and Asians. It's they latch on. They depend on you for survival. They act like they don't rock with us, but they actually need us for their system to even be successful. So it's just funny when you see that this plays a role in their biology, and you see phenotypically it manifests in their behavioral patterns. They latch on. They mooch. They don't add to the system. They take away. It's the same thing, the same characteristics. So they have internal parasites on a cellular level, and these and the genetic material which is responsible for the physical appearance translates even into the behavioral patterns, which are the behavioral traits of different organisms. Certain birds of species of birds make different sounds. They have different colors, red cardinals, blue jays. It's different genetic coding that's responsible for the characteristics of different organisms. And like I said, that's even dealing with behavior. So when we're learning about species and blood type and all that, we got to consider that if there are different humans on the planet, we cannot generalize DNA. We cannot generalize, the origins of humanity and act like, everybody's the same, because it's not technically true. Okay, so you don't want to generalize DNA, but like I said, there is an agenda to generalize DNA, because if they did not generalize DNA, it'll be too easy for the indigenous population to realize what's going on. You feel me? It'll be too easy. So of course, there's going to be some, behind the table, under the table, behind the back type stuff going on. But you just got to keep your eyes open and just make sure, we fit all the pieces to the puzzle. But I don't agree with, some of the teachings some of these scholars who, just blatantly racist and just making up things, just adding information to the teaching. Like this one thing, for example, in the ABO blood group study, right? Your blood type is based upon the presence and absence of antigens, right? So you have the A blood type, that's A antigen. B blood type, that's B antigen, right? AB blood type, that's A and B antigen. And then you have the O blood type, which is supposed to not have any antigens. So I'm trying to understand, why is there no O antigen? Okay. if everybody come from monkeys, and there's no need for the whole RH study, because there would be no incompatibility in blood transfusions. It's clearly a difference between hybrids and original. Okay, now we our cells are different. Our cells can be traced to a completely different origins. And I want to get into the origins of black people, but I haven't, gotten into that part quite yet. That's something we're going to get into a little bit later on. I don't want to spoil it all too quick. You feel me? But we most definitely going to get into some more interesting information, man, and discover who we are and learn who we are, discover our roots, and we're going to keep the 360-degree motion going. You know what I'm saying? And, it is what it is. So, dark energy, dark matter, dark people. Black power, you already know. Peace and blessings, galactic family, blessings. Yeah, man. But yeah, we let me see where we at right quick. Let me see. All right, yeah. Still got a little work to do. Let me see. So I was online, man, and I seen the individual that I know. You know what I'm saying? A brother. We don't hang out all the time or whatnot, but I'm familiar with him. I seen him before or whatnot. I know who the brother is. But it come to find out that the brother's little child passed away. A little beautiful, melanated little baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm my heart goes out to that brother and his family. You know what I'm saying? But this one of the reasons that I believe that, the scientific and historical literacy is important for black people is the fact that we sometimes forget that we're still dealing with colonialism. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we still forget that story never ended. We're still dealing with that to this day. So we know when we went to school, they didn't tell us the full story. We didn't get the full history, So, that even translates into the politics. That translates into the laws. It translates even into the science and the history. So even when we try to go about our lives and we forget that colonialism happened or whatnot, there's individuals who make sure, and they make it their duty to make sure that you never try to, defend yourself. Make sure that you never wake up to try to do anything about it. You feel me? So what I want to do is promote scientific and historical literacy for African people. And in that way, we can't be deceived, And I think that a lot of the things that's happening is coming from us just not being knowledgeable. You know what I'm saying? But these doctors are not in the best interest of our children. They're not in the best interest of melanated people. Y'all got to remember, we are the indigenous population. We're victims of mass genocide. We're survivors of slavery. You see? And we can't forget that. That's still going on. So when we take our babies to these hospitals, it's in our best interest, just to try to do a little bit of research, as to who we are, because these individuals know they studied microbiology, they studied hematology, they studied these, these scientific fields, chemistry, and so they are aware how these substances interacts with the body, and before they even put these substances out, they already know, and they're intervening with nature and in the way that things naturally come about and the way that things naturally derive. So what we must understand is that mainstream medicine focuses on the philosophy of unnaturalism, okay? Mainstream medicine focuses on the philosophy of unnaturalism. And what I mean by unnaturalism is their science is not based upon organic chemistry, okay? Considering that you do have individuals who are biologically inorganic. Okay, if you're a hybrid, you're not an original species, you're inorganic. Your biology is based upon acidity. You have the presence of antigens, parasitic, internal parasites. Like I said, those are things that come with, being a hybrid. So considering that this is the reality. Some people descend from this ancestry, and these individuals are the ones who run in the world, So we must double back and make sure that all the information that we obtain and that we come across is held to validity, and make sure that we're dealing with truth, because at the end of the day we're all seekers of truth, and I believe that's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to discover, the truth. And like I said last time, antigens are cellular mutations. A mutation is the changing of the structure of a gene, resulting in a variant form that may be passed down to subsequent generations, caused by the alteration of single base units in the DNA, or the deletion, insertion, or rearrangement or larger sections of genes or chromosomes. Okay, so like I said, antigens are mutations that translate into disease. Antigens are mutations that translates into disease. With Europeans came death, sickness, and disease. Right? This is where the disease come from, black people. Okay? Hybridization is unnatural. And even if you look into animal species and plant species, all hybrid plant species are toxic. They don't do as well with reproduction. Animal hybrids are toxic as well, and they don't do as well with reproduction for that same reason. Okay, and like I said, that's just you don't want to be a hybrid, but hey, I'm like I said, I'm blessed, divine favor, the melanin is most definitely of the light, and I'm glad to be here with you brothers and sisters on today. And as I continue to learn and discover new information, I'll be bringing it to y'all to build every week. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it going. It's too much work to do. It's too much to build about, man. Like, it's too real out here. Let me see. Okay, so the last time I think we built about lactose intolerance, right? And lactase. And I was just saying how people of European descent and Asian descent typically do well with lactose, right? And lactose is an animal food source, right? Remember we talked about vitamin A? Vitamin A comes from animal food sources. Lactose is an animal food source that comes from cows. It's for baby cows. It's not even for, human beings. So when people that's melanated try to consume an animal food source, there are immune responses to that. And that's when you get, like I said, your lactose intolerance. You feel me? So that's a characteristic that's associated, with melanated people. Yeah, dairy, lactose, any form of dairy, it's no good for black people. Oh yeah, and another thing too to build about glucose. Glucose is horrible. Glucose is very horrible for melanated people. Considering that we have organic chemistry, our biology is based upon alkalinity and not acidity. Okay, so monosaccharide, right, is a word for simple sugar. Saccharide is a term for sugar. So monosaccharide means singular sugar, right? And it's actually a carbon monoxide compound. Monosaccharide is a carbon monoxide compound, okay? And this is why it harms melanated people, because like I said, your red blood cells has a chemical composition of iron and oxygen, right? And iron and oxygen is a molecular structure present in the hemoglobin, right? So these monosaccharides are carbon monoxide. So we know that carbon monoxide poisoning kills people, right? Carbon monoxide is a part of the mainstream philosophy of modern science, considering the fact that their blood cells are deoxygenated. If you ever heard of what a sickle cell is, sickle cells are deoxygenated cells, okay? And that's the reason why it occurs. There's not enough oxygen present in the body. Now, people that are melanated, we have oxygen-rich blood, right? We have a strong chemical affinity for oxygen. So these individuals who have deoxygenated blood cells, their body is not as compatible to accepting the oxygen electron transfer, and that's pretty much what's going on. So we are most definitely more biologically suitable to the natural environment. We have stronger immune systems. I mean, we're more talented. You know what I'm saying? We're smarter. We're better. We're everything. It is what it is, and that's a fact. And we talked about louse, right? Head lice. Head lice are what? Either of two small wingless parasites, insects that live on the skin of mammals, right, and birds. And we know that people that are not of the Afrocentric phenotype tend to get lice. You feel me? And like I said, we are electrically prominent. Why lice can't live in our hair? Because the electrical coils is a sign of our photosynthetic compatibility to the sun. And there's actually electrical signals being received and transferred from our bodies going into the atmosphere, from the atmosphere going into our bodies. Is an exchange of energy, right? And these individuals who have formed lice, they are not as electrical. They don't have the magnetic cells to receive the electrical energy of the sun. And this is where acidification comes into play, and germs and fungus and pathogens, okay, to defy the solar system, to defy the sun, which is the centerpiece of this solar systematic operation, is to defy the system, because the system is based upon the light, which is naturally produced from nature. It is an electrical source of energy. And we are supposed to eat electrical foods. Our DNA is supposed to be electrical. And electricity is a part of the dominant force of this realm. So these individuals also have the Cartagena Protocol. I spoke about that in one of my other lives. The Cartagena Protocol is an attempt of biosafety to regulate on an international scale foods, right? Even though we know that the earth produces foods in abundance, plants, right? Vegetation, fruits, vegetables. So we shouldn't even have to create genetic modified foods, but it does make sense if we have genetic modified organisms such as humans who are genetically modified, that they consume genetic modified foods. Makes a lot of sense. Genetically modified foods for genetically modified organisms. And if you are not a genetically modified organism, maybe you should stop the genetically modified foods. You feel me? Because that's where a lot of the sickness and disease come from. Those acidic-based foods that lack electricity. We need electricity to be healthy. Electricity is a life force of nature. All right? And it's responsible for, our heartbeat, the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour oscillation of biological processes in which solar energy, cosmic rays, influence our cells through particle acceleration, brothers and sisters. So these are, just to touch on, the reality of the universe and the natural environment and DNA, and just to look at some of these teachings, that's being expounded upon, by these Westerners. You feel me? Like I said, antigens, alleles are one and the same. They're parasite-based cells. Zygotes are germ cells, same thing. Gametes, germ cells, same thing. When you study reproduction, a gamete is a germ cell. It's another type of cell that's associated with germ theory. Those are just a few, just to name a few. But everybody don't have germ cells, and they know that in the ABO blood group study, because when you go to get a blood transfusion, they check your blood type to ensure that there would be no immune response of the cells, because the antibodies and antigens actually counteract each other. Okay, so if individuals have incompatibility in antigens, or if an individual has antigens and another individual does not, just like in the Rh positive Rh study, then that incompatibility of cellular composition could actually harm the other person. If they don't have any antigens, any germ cells, then to introduce germ cells to their body is to toxify and pollute their system. Okay? So we know that modern science should never generalize DNA, and that's what's happening when we go to the hospital. That's what's happening, when we entrust these individuals. You know what I'm saying? We forget about colonialism like it's over or something. It's still happening. So we got to keep that in our minds and, be in our own best interest, man. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, yo. Like I said, I appreciate y'all for rocking along with me. You know what I'm saying? Tuning in for another Sunday Soul Sessions, even though today is Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we got to keep the 360-degree motion constant. So we had to make up for that, and we'll be continuing on with our regular programming as usual. And we're going to be doing it again this upcoming Sunday. And there'll probably be a new subject matter. I'll let you guys know throughout the week what we'll be building about. And if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Morning Star, space Omni Aminashi. And that's The Morning Star, THEMORNING. Space Omni OMNI AMUN Amin Ashe ASE. So OMNI AMUN ASE. The Morning Star Omni Aminashi at YouTube. So feel free to check that out. If you guys want to learn more about biological identity, there's not many blacks that are into scientific literacy, let alone historical literacy. And we're just now, becoming conscious and learning a lot about ourselves. And I'm excited about the journey. So I hope you guys are too. And we're going to learn more. And, I can't wait to, to unravel the veil. You feel me? And shine this light, man. And inspire and, promote truth and uplift our people. So, like I said, black matter, black people, black energy, black power. You feel me? That's the order, 360-degree motion. Let me see where we at. Yeah, straight like that, family. Peace and blessings. But yeah, man, scientific literacy and historical literacy, once we gain that, we ready. You feel me? That's the only thing that's missing. Me and my brothers just had a important build the other day, man. It was beautiful. All the brothers came together, hearts and minds, was on the same page, and we talking about the whole Nipsey Hussle situation, as how the brother was trying to uplift his people and trying to do productive, positive things in the black community, and trying to inspire people and do things that's that's worthwhile, leave a legacy. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be here, but it's another thing to live a life of quality and to have a legacy. So that's what I'm about. I want to build a legacy of greatness. And I feel like every individual has greatness within them. And we all can reach our greatest potential if we only just move in the direction and, in what we want to do. You feel me? Just do it. Whatever you want to do, as long as you moving in that direction, it'll, you attract it to yourself. You feel me? So I'm just glad that you brothers and sisters stop through to rock with me on another Sunday Soul Sessions. Even though it's Monday, you know what I'm saying, we on nigga time for the day. But like I said, we'll be back to our regular programming this following Sunday. So you guys be sure to tune in, and we're gonna do it again. Like I said, there's no such thing as race, right? DNA or biological ingredients. Don't be confused. There's only the original parent species and a subspecies, which are hybrids. Hybrids are subspecies. The taxonomic category of species that rank below. Okay? So they are not original. And we're not all the same. So even when they say in the Bible that all men were made in the image of God, it's like it's different people in the world that look different. Everybody don't look the same. So when God made everybody in his image, who was he talking about? You feel me? It's different people. So we got to look a little bit more into our origins to see who we are and who God designed us to be. Like I said, DNA are biological ingredients. It's genetic information. It's coding. It's DNA sequencing. God intended for you to be exactly who you is. You feel me? So we need to be proud of who we are. We need to, discover who we are and, and be glad to be a son of the gods. We are gods. We're not just, servants. You know what I'm saying? We are gods. We are creators. We are sons and daughters of the celestial deities. And we're going to prove that. We're going to get into the origins of melanin too. That might be the next one coming up for the upcoming week. But, we come from a different origins. You know what I'm saying? We are the elite. We are the chosen people. That's facts. And when I say chosen, I mean the natural people, the people who naturally derive from nature, the people who nature intended to be here. We are those people. I don't know, exactly what they're trying to say in the Bible, but that's who we is. Where we at? Yeah, okay. For sure. Yeah, we are the chosen people, man. Like I said, any suggestions on builds, things that you guys want to talk about, any questions dealing with science or history, feel free to inbox me or comment, and we can chop it up. You feel me? We still on this route to discovery, to knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So let's do it. You know what I'm saying? It's about that time. It's a new day, brothers and sisters. And I see the energy, though. I see the energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we black people know better. Like, black people starting to wake up. Matter of fact, it's more black people conscious now than any other time in before colonialism, I would say. Not any other time in history, because, we were a bit more advanced at one point in time. But before colonialism, I mean, we might have been more advanced then, but since colonialism, there's never been a time where black people were as awake as they are now. And that's one thing that I'm proud of, because even though we're not all there, and I know that different trees, different plants grow at their own pace, they're not fertilized at the same time. We evolve at different rates, We're all a part of the universal reality. We're all a part of this universe, brothers and sisters. The universe is reality. No matter what religion you believe in, we all need oxygen. We all need oxygen. Some things are personal opinion, and some things are just universal truths. It's not even about what's personal. It's about what's relevant to all life forms. We are forms of life. Forms of life. We are life forms. And, that's the universe is relevant to us, no matter what you believe. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even about belief no more. It's about knowledge. We need to get these knowing systems, and science is a knowing system. It's a system that's based upon knowledge, knowing, a body, a discipline of study, to know. All right. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, we got the The next Sunday soul session's coming up. We're gonna be building, and like I said, I'm gonna hit you guys in the throughout the week and let you know what the topic is going to be. And we're gonna be doing it again. So love and light, peace and blessings to the whole galactic family. Thank you for your support. I thank you for your time and your energy. And I can't wait to do it again. So until that time, peace and blessings. 360-degree motion, infinite time, space, and matter. Dark energy, dark matter, dark people, black power. Peace and blessings. I'll show you.